Today, we're going to talk all about why you smart, ambitious woman, why you need community. And you not only need community, you need an excellent community right now. All this and more on Think Enriched. You're a smart, ambitious woman. You serve those around you and take care of so many. But money has always been a little too tight, and you never seem to have enough time. I'm Amy Robles. I coach women just like you to start and run their own business, take care of the priorities, and get the zest back in their lives. Hold your head high, girl. You can earn your income, be there for your loved ones, and do something that makes you deliciously happy along the way. The gift you bring to the world is a happier, more fulfilled you. You're here because you believe like I do. You're here because you think enriched. Hey, welcome to Think Enriched. Delighted to have you back after a sabbatical, time with my family, just enough to rejuvenate and get focused. And I'm really excited for the direction of the show, for the direction of my life, for the direction of my business, how things are progressing forward. So this summer, I had this wonderful opportunity. I talked to a lot of different friends, either beginning their own entrepreneurial pursuit or considering, or they've got this big dream and they're so comfortable, they're kind of set where they are that they're not willing to progress and try the next thing. And I found myself saying, of course you can do it. Of course you can do this. You just need to believe in yourself. And sometimes as smart, ambitious women, we're so busy taking care of the rest of the world, looking out, making sure that things are running smoothly, that we forget ourselves in that process. You know, technology has advanced and progressed so quickly that we can pay a bill and sign a contract and check an email and make a phone call in the same 5-minute car ride, whether we should or should not. It's crazy how so many things can be happening all at once. And it's made us very, very autonomous. I don't go into the bank like I used to. I don't go in and check and ask about a couple of things, where I am, the balance on a bill, or what's going on in that direction. I can take care of everything from my phone, which is amazing. I love that kind of autonomy. However, that has led us to a different kind of isolation that no other generation has had before. Autonomy is not isolation. Somehow, technology pushes us to believe that they are similar. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to do anything. I am really good. But are you? That's the question I'm getting at. Think about your regular day. You can get up, go through the regular morning routine. Everybody's off on their regular schedule. And then throughout your day, the different things you've accomplished, the different things, you can actually go to a store, make a purchase, and never have to deal with another human in the store. There's other humans there, but they're in their own different zone. You can go and make transactions. You can go and actually go to work locations, sit at your own area, and never deal with anybody on that other side of the building. It's crazy how we've become that isolated. We need community. As I was doing all the research for this, I have a bunch of articles. They're in the show notes. So if you want to double check on something, really dig down into it, I've got those there so you can go with that. So as part of my research, I just went through several questions about what is community and what does it mean and how are we missing it? So the first question is, why do you need community? According to a few studies, loneliness and social isolation are risk factors for your mortality. Well, that's scary. Social isolation, loneliness, and even living alone can increase your possibility of death by at least 26% for people younger than 65. And according to that study, your gender, the length of time you lived alone, the area of the world where you were, it didn't matter in that study. But being alone that long was really hard on your health. Another study said that connection is the opposite of addiction. They gave this incredible research. In Portugal, they had this horrible epidemic with heroin and over 800 deaths in a year just from heroin overdose. And what they were doing is they found that they were isolating these people that no one had the method to pull them into community. So instead of spending all of the money on rehab programs and treatment centers, they focused all of that money just on pulling them back into the community, somehow getting them involved in the gardening projects, different projects, things that had absolutely nothing to do with drug use. And 15 years later, there were only 16 heroin overdose deaths. I just think that shows that there's something about when you have an addiction, it comes to the point of there was a time where you were truly, truly hurt, and somehow we filled that pain with something else. Maybe it was gambling. Maybe it was shopping. Maybe it was just connection, trying to find, and too much caffeine, and you were able to go to your regular Starbucks and know the people there and actually have your thing. I don't know what it is, but just seeing those few details alone shows how important community is. The next thing I really looked into is what is a community for people like us, these smart, ambitious women who have so many different things going on. Well, clearly, your community is your social group, and a community of excellence, which is what we're looking for, only happens when you make time for it. You have to set your standards, and you have to figure out and make that community a priority in your life. The kind of community we're looking for is a group, a place, a body of people where you can encourage, empower, and uplift one another. And there's a great quote from Athena Vongalis-Macrow from the Harvard Business Review that says, "Networks are only as valuable as those they bring together and what happens as a result. The innate value of a network and what you get out of it can make or break your chances for development." Sometimes I think we find ourselves in groups, not because we've chosen to be with people, because the family dynamic, there's lots of things, or kids are all involved in one group, a class, a dance program, and all the dance moms are there, or different, you can just see how the choices of other people have put us, smart, ambitious women, in these different social groups. So we need to make time to create that community that you're really seeking out. In this same Harvard Business Review article, she shares 4 different questions when you evaluate a network or a group to join. First, ask, who is in the network? And in this article, it was great. It says, you want valuable members who are part pack rat, part librarian, and part Good Samaritan. I read that Harvard Business Review and I just busted out laughing because that is not what I thought where this article was going. So I just wrote down the quote I want to share with you directly. The pack rat brought in a range of resources that could be accessed and used to create new and fresh ideas. The librarian brought in information and knowledge. And the Good Samaritan had the attitude and practice of sharing. A network built on relationships between talented, knowledgeable, and supportive members is worth joining. If that relationship doesn't exist, you may need to look elsewhere. Close quote. Think about that. We all have the friend that is the pack rat, and you sit down and you're talking about something and they just say, what about this? And just those few words in your mind just opens up of, whoa, think of how that could do and what you could incorporate if you put this piece and this piece together and made something entirely new. And we all have a friend that's a librarian who is reading and studying and just geeks out on stuff that doesn't really apply to stuff in our regular daily routine. And so you need time with that kind of a person. And the Good Samaritan, man, we can all use a friend that is that cheerleader that really helps build us up and is just doing such good work. And so if you can find people like that, part pack rat, part librarian, and part Good Samaritan, that might be just the network to join. Second, the next question to ask is, how well does a network connect? So you need to consider the frequency and the quality of the communication. You need to find out if it's invitation only. And you need to find out about if there's any sort of mentoring options. Sometimes I think we're being mentored and we don't even realize it. You join a group and you're ready to contribute and do all this work. However, someone that's a little more advanced than you loves what they're seeing in you, and they're willing to invest in you and help you achieve even more. The third question to ask is there functional communication? So how does this group work to overcome difficulties? How do they support one another? How do you see the care and concern that comes from this group? And then finally, the last question to ask when you're thinking about joining a group is, who are you talking to? Are these people you want to spend time with? Are these people that will give you access to even more influential people? Is this somewhere that you can see spending 6 months or a year, longer term than that even, and develop relationships that could last and really invest in one another? These are really, really key questions. And finally, that brings us to the last portion of how do you find a support network? How do you find a community like this? Where do you plug into that? So I've got 4 different options that have come to me, just keep coming up over and over again. It's so funny. This has been on my mind since last summer, and I've had a different version of this kind of conversation repeatedly. And just in the last couple of weeks with someone here, and I knew this is something we really had to talk about. So 4 different ways to plug into a network. First of all, join a group. There's all kinds of women's professional development. There is Toastmasters speaking groups. There are groups you can find online. There is meetup.com that has local groups where you're meeting face-to-face and talking about different issues. Second, you could create a group. Now, this is going to take a lot more work and investment on your time, but if you think it's worth it and you see the value in these long-term relationships, then I highly recommend it. But only if you can see how you're going to be able to give and take. Now, a personal story of this, I really thought that I had created the right group and done something that I was really excited about and was motivating and really helping and reaching out to other people. And it was more of a give, and I wasn't getting much out of the group. And it was taking a lot of energy and checking in. And I invested so much in that group that when I closed it down, they were not happy. And this was only an online Facebook group. It wasn't a real life meeting group. And I got to tell you, that was really hard to deal with, that I was really putting my heart out here trying to help somebody else and hope to get something out of that in return, but it just didn't happen. The third way to find a great support network is volunteer in the community. You can help in the school systems. You can join in the food banks. There's all kinds of opportunities to do volunteer work. And sometimes that connects you with the right people that you need to meet at that time. And the fourth option to plug into a great support network is to start an online group. Now, I have had really good experiences with this and not very good experiences with this. I have had to close a few groups that I've started, and it wasn't the right fit, and it just didn't make sense at the time, and had to just say, okay, this was really fun. I appreciate your help in this journey. It's time to move on and progress. And it's so interesting. Some people, they were really supportive of that. And sometimes people are like, oh, I see how that is. And that just left a really, it hurt. And I was really surprised at their reaction. And so being able to understand and see that, You want to be in these relationships, in these groups where it's a give and a take, not just a give, give, give. So you want to make sure that you're plugging into a group that's going to be worthwhile today, tomorrow, and even in the long term. And because of that, I believe we've talked about this. I have been working on writing the book. This is the book project that has been my dream. It's been years coming. I have about halfway through my manuscript, and I'm seeing from what's happening is the community of smart, ambitious women that I'm looking for and really trying to plug in isn't quite there yet. And I'm working to create that. If that's something that you would like to join in and to learn more about and to participate in, go to thinkandrich.com/book team. That's thinkandrich.com/book team. And you can find out more how to join the group, how to be a part, and plug into a community of smart, ambitious women achieving their goals, doing the same things, really going after what they want to achieve, but with that heart of a giver, really willing to build and reach out to one another. And it's the most amazing thing I've ever done. I'm so excited for what's happening, where we're going with this. I just get chills just talking about what's happening. And when all of us achieve our potential, think of what we can do. Holy smokes, it's amazing. Hey, you're a smart, ambitious woman. Shine on. I'll talk to you soon.